Hello, my name is Kendall, and this is Whodunit in Your Pocket, a solo deduction and spatial puzzle game with a whodunit theme inspired by Clue. Your goal is to solve the facts of the murder, which is finding the suspect, the weapon, and the location before the clock strikes midnight. To set up, you separate the cards into their types. So I've got the suspects and locations and weapons here, and you would randomly select two cards of each type without looking at them to set them aside. At the end of the game, you can confirm whether you solved the murder facts correctly. Any two cards will have only one icon in common. So the icon that's in common between the two cards that's removed, in this case, which would be the candlestick, is what you are solving for. Now, there are only three of each icon in the game. So if you see more than one icon during the game, you know that that is not one of the murder facts. For example, if these two cards were removed, the candlestick would be the murder weapon and you're solving for that. And you'll only see one candlestick icon during the game, meaning you cannot eliminate that as a murder weapon. But if you see two knife icons during the game, for example, these two here, you can eliminate the knife as a murder weapon by crossing it out on your reference sheet up here. Basically, you know it's not the knife. So after removing the murder facts, you shuffle the deck and you draw one at a time to be placed. Each card that you draw must overlap at least one square that's out here. And as you're doing so, there's elements that you would want to cover. For example, right here, there's a duplicate of this green living room. So we want to cover that. There's elements you want to cover. There's elements you do not want to cover. And there's elements that you may want to have aligned adjacent. So for example, the blackmail icon is one you want to cover. Any duplicate icon that you see you want to cover. Elements you don't want to cover is a location or a murder fact that you have not eliminated yet. Bystanders like this that are circled. These are like the cook, the singing telegram, stranded motorist, etc. And then things you would want adjacent, if possible, you want to place these magnifying glass or clue icons adjacent. So let me give you some examples of if you didn't place this to remove the duplicate, then you would have to advance the clock. So you would lose an hour as a detective trying to find things that are already evident there. If you had more than one duplicate out, you still only advance the clock once. If you have, once you get three of these blackmail icons out, you would need to cross out this one with the 3 and then advance the clock 1. If you get to the end of the game and you've covered, say, this purple room, but it ended up being the murder fact, the location, you would lose. So you want to keep that from being covered. These bystanders, if those are covered up, once you cover this guy, you would cross them out over here. And once 2 are crossed out, you would lose a time. So we cross out the 2 and lose a time. So those are elements there. As far as these clue icons, if these are placed adjacent, that prevents the clock advancing that turn. So whether it's a duplicate that's already out and it cancels that out, or you can, erase one of the clock icon markings. So those are some examples. This is an icon for secret passageways. I'll cover that in just a second. So hopefully that gives you an idea as you are figuring out it's not a certain location or a certain person. You cross out your suspects, your murder weapons, and your locations. As long as you're paying attention, the murder facts will be revealed. Otherwise, you'll have to make a guess. Okay, so the secret passageways are optional for an easier game. There's 2 cards for easy, 1 card for intermediate, or don't use any for advanced. And that's the only purpose for this icon, is how these can be placed. So you would shuffle any cards using into the deck, and as they are removed, or sorry, as they are drawn, you can play it immediately, but it has to cover one of these icons. So it could cover like this, it could cover like that, it could cover the entire card, it can cover like this. So that's the only use of these icons. So in an advanced game, you just would ignore those. And as these are drawn, you can play it immediately or you can set it aside. And any cards that aren't used will be, added to your score. So let's talk about winning. Obviously, you have to have figured out the case. If you weren't keeping very good track, you'll have to make a guess. And then you will lose if your clock has struck midnight. If you have 6 or more blackmail icons, you automatically lose. Basically, your credibility as a detective is lost. If any of the murder icons are not visible, then you lose. Or if you guessed incorrectly, then you lose also. So at the end of the game, you would turn over those 6 cards, and in this case, this would be the knife, and it would be the common icon here, this brown butler, and this blue office. So I would check to make sure that I did in fact guess correctly. And then if you won, you can add up your score based on this reference sheet here. Any icons not marked off are 1 point, and any secret passageway cards not used are worth 2 points. So the best part of this game is the unique solo deduction aspect that works really well with the spatial puzzle. It's easy to take on the go. It's only 27 cards, and it's a good game filler to sneak into, a 15-minute window. If you'd like to try the game, there's a print and play file as well as a digital version on playingcards.io, and I'll include those links in the video description. I will also include a link to a playthrough video of a pandemic themed version where you are trying to cure 4 deadly diseases by determining their cities of origin within 8 weeks. And many have liked this theme more, but I had a poll on BGG, and overwhelmingly people wanted to keep Whodunit as the main theme for this game. All right, leave any questions in the comments, and thank you for watching.